Hello and welcome to another YuGiOh video. Today I'm bringing you a live match with commentary from the Portsmouth Regional. So for round one at this event we have SPYRAL on the left and Thunder on the right. And Thunder is going to be kicking things off, going through some basic Thunder Dragons, get that activation from the hand done. And that will allow some future access to the Thunder monsters. Now keep in mind, Colossus is not a thing anymore, so it's not as simple as normal summon this Battery Man Solar and get an instant Colossus, but plays are opened up by the Monster Reborn here. Now, a quick shout out to Joshua from your dad, Matt, who is playing the Thunder Dragons, doing this one for you, bud. So, we're going to see the token turn into a Link Karibo, and that means some more Link climbing here. Instant Fusion used as well, so I had to invest pretty heavily into this Appaloosa. It's going to be from these 4 materials. So 4 material Appaloosa, 4 negates, going to be very, very helpful in the upcoming future turns. And actually able to go through into a Masquerader, it looks like here first, triggering off that Raw as well, so some extra access there too. That does mean that in the following turn there will be a Dark available in hand if necessary, but he's actually just going to get rid of that and go straight into Apollo with Titan on board. Very, very formidable. And what can be done on the other side? So from a SPYRAL perspective, it's not the greatest situation, but evenly matched is going to be able to get rid of at least one of those problems, so really not too bad at all. Going to have to sacrifice that Titan there, unfortunately for Matt, but he does get to keep the Appaloosa, which is really the only card that matters at the moment anyway. 4 negates, nothing to shy away from, but it looks like they're not even going to get used this turn, as we see a triple set pass from SPYRAL. Probably not the best move here actually, as we know that Titan will be able to remove multiples of those. However, it does give the potential added benefit of maybe delaying an OTK here. So Thunder Dragon Fusion, straight into another Titan, keeping out the extra snazzy signed by Team Samurai X1 Titan on the board here. And that is going to be able to push for some serious damage after blowing up the board. And we see it's got rid of a Dark Rule no more, and yeah, potentially that should have been saved, held in hand, could have been a bit more impactful there, but given that SPYRAL did not open any starters, are they just going to get OTK'd here? So after blowing up the entire board, we see a Mission Rescue in the grave. A little bit of information now available to Matt, the Thunder player here, who does have some idea of what is being played on the opposite side at this point. Up until now, it's been a mystery. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to see some damage pushed in here. Not going for an OTK. I guess the hand perhaps doesn't afford it here. So a little bit unfortunate, because just swinging for an OTK here would be really, really strong, but still on a good position. That Apollo and Thunder Dragon Titan backed up there, but it looks like evenly matched from the other side is going to be met with Titan popping itself. Interesting, so that it doesn't get banished face down and is potentially useful in the future. I guess it doesn't really trade any resources from the Thunder perspective anyway. So plays starting to get going here. Foolish Burial coming down. And a quick fix available there, so that should be able to start things going, but already negated by the Apollo. That's pretty big. And this Wear Off Thou can turn into a Drones, which is not going to lead to any damage because it will be able to be normal summoned, so don't have to worry about damage there. The difficulty then is that you still have to deal with this Apollo. So after failing to look at the top 3 cards, only 2 negates left on the Apollo, but we can't attack it because there's no battle phase left after they evenly got resolved. So, a bit unfortunate, Apollo left on 1 negate, and if Matt has any way to get back into this game, surely he's going to be able to deal that 1600 damage necessary. If he can put a Titan on board, that will do 13 over the double helix, and then he's got another 800 left, which would certainly seal things off. Is he going to be able to do it? Yep, looks like SPYRAL's just going to scoop up, and we move on to game 2. So SPYRAL having the choice of whether to go first or second, choosing second once again, as we saw from the first game, Evenly and Dark Rule No More in the main really broadcasts a going second list. And are we going to see a similar end board from Matt? It did work out the first time around, but he did have to invest quite a lot into that Appaloosa. We see the instant fusion come down. It's a real shame that this can't just become a Colossus anywhere nearly as quickly as it used to, but it can go into a Titan, which is really not too problematic at all. Oh, sorry, I should mention that the life points, if they're not already corrected, should be down to 7,000 here. And then we see the Dark comes in. Just free summons here, plenty of access to additional support because you get to do that cool summoning technique of banishing your fusion monster in order to rank up or ramp up your power levels into a Titan. Once again, the Matrix becomes Linkaribo. Linkaribo actually one of the best extra deck monsters in Thunder apparently, despite not being a Thunder monster. It does allow you to trigger off your effects, and it does allow you to turn your token into an actual monster for your Apollo. So once again, we are seeing an Appaloosa made, so plenty of negates available there, as well as the Titan 2. We see some Thunder Dragons, just going into more Thunder Dragons so that they don't get bricked on in the following turns. Looks like just a little bit of deck thinning there. So can SPYRAL break through the board this time around? I guess it really depends on whether there is a brick hand as bad as last time. Always got the Dark Rule No More, followed by Terraforming. Ooh, that's going to be a bit tough. Now, obviously, there's not going to be an OTK here, and using the Terraforming does mean that SPYRAL Resort comes down, so chances are we're going to be seeing a Nightmare Unicorn later in the combo in order to spin back that resort and get the double search off the master plan, but it does really depend on what the line is here. So Souls, one of the most impactful cards for the deck, able to be searched off the Wear Off Thou. That is going to cost some life points during the end phase. However, we have a massive amount of plays available here. Adding the Assault in order to build up the typical combo that we're used to. If you haven't seen it already, then this is just a little showcase for you guys of how the SPYRAL combo works. But I'm sure if you've been competing recently, you will have seen this a fair few times anyway. Now, there might be some variation based on the fact that, you know, the resort is now on the board, so that changes the order that everything has to happen, and the Appaloosa, although that Appaloosa is actually not an issue anymore, it's just more of a case of dealing with the fact that the cards are on the field. That's the only concern available remaining. So the double Helix comes down. We see a Nibiru blowing up the entire board. Wow, that is mad. So that's hit, what, like six monsters? 7 monsters in one go? Wow, that's a very beefy token that we're going to see there. Is that going to be a blowout for the SPYRAL side? Potentially not. There is still, you know, plenty of resources within that graveyard that can actually bring everything back and get the plays going, like the rescue here. Brings back the double Helix. Double Helix hasn't actually been used yet, so brings out the master plan. That's another rescue available there, which brings back the quick fifth. So yeah, things are still looking very strong from the SPYRAL side. Not too much to worry about here. Despite that Nibiru taking out so many monsters, it did kind of have to be played then, because alternatively, what if an Appaloosa came down and then you couldn't use the Nibiru at all? So it did have to be played at some point. Let us know in the comment section if you think any of the plays should be slightly different, and what your guys' thoughts are on this WCQ match. But yeah, we see the Unicorn gets to spin back the stuff, and then going into the goodness of the rest of the SPYRAL board, getting to search that Sleeper and the SPYRAL Resort. Plays opening up into this, what do we have here? The SPYRAL Super Agent, which just gets a free summon. So currently there is an Appaloosa for, I believe, 2 on the board. Backed up by Phoenix, backed up by instant fusion coming down is going to extend the plays a little bit more. and chances are there's going to be a sleeper at the end. Wow, okay, so double nightmares backing up this Appaloosa, and a sleeper fully protected, and some life point damage taken from the Wear Off Thou, putting SPYRAL down to 6,000. Can Thunder find a way out of this? They've got to deal with 2 negates and a double pop. It just really depends on what is actually available. Matt's just weighing up his options here. We know a few cards in his hand from all the searching he's been doing previously. He tries to activate the Hawk and just display in the graveyard, see whether or not that's allowed. The Appaloosa will negate that one, which potentially is going to really limit his plays here. He does have the Matrix on board, so he can go back into that Linkaribo. But maybe that's not going to be enough. It looks like he's just going to close up and we'll move on to game 3. So as I say, do let me know if you guys enjoy this content in the comment section down below. Given the amount of time it actually takes to render all of these videos, I think for the last few rounds where we focus on the top tables of the Portsmouth WCQ, what I'll do is I'll do no commentary, I'll just do life points, a little bit of editing, so that you guys can get the best experience of the actual competitive scene from those rounds. Some very, very exciting stuff from the top tables there. And into game 3, we can see triple set from Thunder. Not the best opening, but he did have a Dimension Shifter, and on top of that, he has the Sanctum. Wow, okay. So if plays were possible before, they probably aren't anymore for the SPYRAL. We're going to see a mistake made here with a 1-for-1. Now 1-for-1 cannot actually be activated under Dimension Shifter because the cost is to send a card from a monster from your hand to the grave, which can't actually happen. Costs must be paid exactly, remember guys. So 1-for-1 not able to activate here. Wow, so 1-for-1 it would normally in this situation be an like an OTK kind of deal, but dealing with Sanctum plus Shifter is nuts. So from Matt's side, he's now in a pretty good position. He's got control of the current board and he can start to try and push in some damage. Can he do 8k this turn? Well, we know that he has access to the Titan, which is going to be able to remove the face down card. That turns out to be the Magician's Souls. And if there were any other face down cards, he'd be able to get rid of those too, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that because there's nothing else there. He's just going to push in some damage and pass. On the opposite side, Instant Fusion coming down, and we're getting really close to time here, so really far behind for SPYRAL. Is there any way to get out of this? No, it looks like time is going to be called, and that is going to be it for this one. Shame about that because I happen to know there was a full OTK available in that hand. Depending on the back row, of course, so we never really know. So thanks very much for watching this one, guys. Let me know what you think. Thunder Dragon's coming out on top this time around, but what will happen in the subsequent rounds, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.